Prince Harry, some people might say he doesn't do anything by halves. As we saw in that recent interview, he basically said, didn't he, that he wanted a family, not a constitution. And he's also pointed out that he's never been happier than he is right now in that sort of old cave of California with his wife, two children, and of course his close mother-in-law, Doria. Now, Doria was spectacularly welcomed into the British monarchy, all thanks to the king, as he then was the Prince of Wales, where he very gallantly sat and chatted and showed around and really welcomed her into his family. As he pointed out to a very close source, it must have been incredibly daunting for someone to arrive there alone and be faced with all of us. And he meant that in the most gentlemanly of ways. I said to you before, I found that very strange, as did many people, that Doria simply decided to travel all this way across the world and sit there alone in St. George's Chapel. Seemingly, for Meghan, she had no thought about this, the fact that her mother, on her most biggest of historical days, had no one to sit there and guide her and hold her hand, even just someone to talk to. Now, apparently, that all that's changed, but many people are suggesting this could be a very clever, shrewd marketing ploy. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. The bottom line is this, really. As we now know, Prince Harry's already stated his claims about exactly what he wants to do and what he'd like to receive if he comes over for the coronation of King Charles III, his father, on May the 6th. He's already pointed out that, he'd like to have talks beforehand, etc. But now, seemingly, that's escalated, seemingly because he's already decided that he knows it's a very tricky maneuver to come back over here to the United Kingdom, given everything that's gone on, thanks to his book, thanks to his docu-series, and basically thanks to all those ridiculous interviews in which, without dressing it up too finely, he simply trashed his own family. I think the biggest problem that Harry had was his wife, Meghan Markle, with the fake curtsy in that Netflix clip. It was possibly the most misguided thing that she and he could have endorsed, but seemingly they wanted to create some sort of controversy, and that's exactly what they did. But now, according to a very good source, Harry and Meghan would consider, I love this, don't you, would consider a return back to the United Kingdom to help celebrate the coronation of King Charles III on May the 6th. But not only would they like invites for their children, Archie and Lily, but also for Meghan's mother, Doria, too. Apparently, there are two reasons for that. They now come as a close-knit family unit, and obviously she could help assist with looking after the children. Now, on that point, I can see how that makes incredibly perfect sense. But isn't it strange, that he had a very close-knit family, not just one member, but incredibly many members of that family who were and have looked out for him for many years. But seemingly now he considers this to be his pivotal family unit. And according to that good source, unless that is forthcoming, that they're seen as a tight family unit, invited as one for such an historical event, then seemingly it's a no-go, along with a public apology. You get the picture. But what's interesting here is, of course, the more that they offer and the more that they demand makes it incredibly difficult, doesn't it, for King Charles to relent and say, well, there you go, you can have that then. Because obviously once you start opening up and agreeing to certain things, then other things take hold too. For now, though, as I often say here on the show, difficult times for King Charles, whatever you think. Many people here on the channel rather ungallantly say that he's weak and insipid and all that sort of stuff. I think he's in a very tough position, trying his very best to navigate the choppy waters of his rather troubled, demanding, and at times super childish youngest son. As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.